Liverpool not going for a defender in January. Bayern Munich want Marc Guehi, and there's an injury update on Ibrahima Konate regarding going into internationals for France as well. A lot more talk. We're going to talk about a lot of things this morning, including defence, obviously, which is a big problem at the moment, and whether we'll go back in for Marc Guehi next summer or not. But the latest on that is the fact that we're not going to go for a defender at all in January. Wow. What do you make of that, Liverpool fans? What do you make of that, football fans? Is that a big, big mistake from Liverpool? A title-deciding mistake if we don't get a big defender in January? For me, it could be. It could well be. Yes, let me know your thoughts in the chat. Get in your comments in. Get involved in the chat. Get involved with what we're discussing today. And also, we're going to be also discussing the Premier League international break this week. So, not really much to talk about in terms of the international break, but we will discuss everything else regarding the news of the defence and much, much more. So, yeah, make sure you do hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. Let's start then with the Marc Guehi news. The Bayern Munich links to Marc Guehi. According to Sky Germany, Bayern are already looking concretely at Marc Guehi. Max Eberl is a big admirer, and initial talks with the players' representatives have already taken place. The talks with, according to Sky Germany, talks have already been taking place between the representatives of Marc Guehi and Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich are interested in a free transfer in 2026, but that depends on what happens with Upamecano and Kim. There's competition. Liverpool and Barcelona are seriously involved, and Real Madrid are also in the race. You don't need to say Liverpool are seriously involved. We're literally a Liverpool player going into deadline day, had a medical, and it just broke down because Palace pulled out. But this is what could have happened. This is what can happen now because Liverpool didn't get Marc Guehi over the line. And yes, we understand. Yes, it pretty much had him in our grasp. He did the medical, passed the medical. He was going to become a Liverpool player until Crystal Palace pulled out on deadline day because they didn't bring anyone in. However, which I've been saying for quite a while now, we should have moved earlier for Marc Guehi. We should have paid up the price, the 5 to 10 million when we was Owen and Aaron over. We should have got that done earlier. If he was that much of an important player, which right now, as we see right now, with Leone being out, Konate obviously not being the ball player centre back, we absolutely needed Marc Guehi. And for us not to Umana over 5-10 million earlier on in the window, that can bite us back in the ass. Not just for this season, but for getting Marc Guehi in the end. Because now Marc Guehi can talk to other clubs for free in January. He can sign a pre-contract with Bayern Munich. He can sign a pre-contract with Real Madrid. This can happen. We have left the door open for many, many other clubs to get Marc Guehi. We had him in our grasp. We could have got him over the line. Yes, Crystal Palace shouldn't have pulled out last minute. That's on them. They should have looked all summer for a replacement. However, the £40 million that they asked for earlier on in the transfer window, we should have paid it up. That was an important signing, not just for this season, but for coming seasons. That was an important deal to get done. And this is what I'm saying. We did it again with Lavia when we were and ahhing over 5 million. Lavia ended up changing his mind, going to Chelsea because they paid up the money. We could get the same thing now. We could get the same thing, Marc Guehi. Hopefully, it doesn't change his mind. That's what we're hoping. It's like fingers crossed. We're hoping now on fingers crossed that Marc Guehi doesn't change his mind on Liverpool. He had his heart set on Liverpool. He was going to become a Liverpool player, but things can change. Things can change. The door is now open for any other club now to come in for Marc Guehi, and we have to just deal with that. And if he changes his mind, then wow. What do we do next? Because we're talking about Konate and his contract and whether he's going to go for free in the summer. Because if Konate goes in the summer for free and we don't get Marc Guehi, who do we get? Who do we get? Because we need 2 centre-backs. Marc Guehi was going to be added onto Konate in the summer. Next summer, we need 2 centre-backs. If Konate leaves, we need 2 centre-backs. And hopefully, we are heavily reliant on Marc Guehi not changing his mind. But he can easily change his mind. When Bayern Munich comes in, Real Madrid come in, he can listen to other offers. He might just think, you know what? I'm done with the Premier League for a little bit. I might try something different league, the Bundesliga. I might try La Liga, something different. Because we've seen already this season, Trent Alexander-Arnold leaving this summer. He wanted a new challenge. We had Marc Guehi there to get. We was going to get him on the deadline date until Palace pulled out. But like I said, that 5-10 million we were owing an iron over earlier on in the summer, we should have just paid up. How important this signing would have been right now. Imagine Marc Guehi right now in this team. We wouldn't, it was such an important signing. I can't believe we were owing an hour over 5 to 10 million for a player like that. Yes, he's coming for free next summer, but now we've got an opportunity now of losing him. There's a massive opportunity now for another team to come in and get him for free. So we can say, oh, we're waiting for him for free. I'm sorry, that's not good enough. And now the reports with David Ornstein saying that we're not going for a defender in January. That's simply not good enough. I'm sorry, that's not good enough. I don't care how much you spent in summer. Fantastic. We should be going to win this title this season. And not being a defender in January, for me, is a big, big no-no. It's a big, we're not really bothered about the title right now. For the sake of a few, 20, 30 million. We need to get a defender in. And we really should be going for Marc Guehi. I don't even care about paying 20 to 25 million, even though he's coming for free in summer. Ensure he comes in. Because if we lose Marc Guehi, if we don't get him next summer now and he goes to Bayern Munich or Real Madrid, someone like that, that's on us. That's on us right now. We can push that deal. But right now, we're seemingly like we're going to be standing still in January. And that's simply not good enough. This is literally 2021 all over again. It really is. That's what it is. We went into a season, and 3 centre-backs, 2 injury prone, and we cried about injuries when they came about. Yes, the Van Dijk injury was unfortunate. That was one what we didn't see coming. But a Matip injury and a Gomez injury were predictable. Right now, we've got Gomez, we've got Konate, we've got Van Dijk. Konate has had his injury worries in the past, and Gomez, we know he's injury prone. So that's what we're relying on the season. Relying on hopefully Konate stays fit and Gomez stays fit. Otherwise, we're down to 2, maybe 1 centre back. Oh, but Gravenberch can play there. Endo can play there. Don't give me that shite. Do not give me that shite. I don't want to see Gravenberch and Endo playing there. I want us to go get a defender in January. Whether we're getting Marc Guehi or not in summer, we need to go and address this in January because this could be a title-deciding mistake from Liverpool. That's what it could be because that's what it was back in 2021. We didn't address the centre-back area, and we only addressed the centre-back area when Fabinho got a knock. We were happy. We were sat there happy. Fabinho and Henderson are covering. We're happy with that. What? Not only are we... It's poor for the defence, but we're also taking midfielders away from the midfield. It's also ruining that part of the pitch. If we have to rely on Gravenberch going centre-back or Endo going centre-back, I don't want to see Endo going centre-back, but if we have to rely on Gravenberch specifically going centre-back, it's a detriment to the midfield as well as the defence. That's what it is, because we're not only losing our defender, we're losing our midfielder. That is simply not good enough. We are at least 1 centre-back down from the summer because we wanted Marc Guehi. We should have gone and got Marc Guehi, but we didn't. So we still want a centre-back from summer. So now, if you're looking at that, if we're looking at 1 centre-back from summer, our ideas, our plans of having an extra centre-back, so 1 centre-back down, and obviously the unfortunate incident with Leone and the injury for Leone, now we're 2 centre-backs down. And we're happy to sit here in January, not bring one in. That, for me, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. Tony said, hey, I think the defender situation should have been the top priority at the beginning of the transfer window. But we all got caught up in Vert Steel. I also think we should have went in for a DM. I think so as well, Tony. I mean, if you go back to our summer transfer window and you go back to our summer streams, I said a DM is more important than a cam. I said we need a cam because we need a proper 10. Because Szoboszlai is not a proper 10. I want Szoboszlai as a number 8. But as priority, I always said the priorities for me this summer was a left back, obviously, to get instead of Robertson and Tsimikas going out the door. Also, a replacement for Trent, a striker, a DM, and a centre back. They were my priorities. And we didn't even look at a DM, which absolutely shocked me. Instead, we looked at a cam. And I said we did need a cam because we need a 10. We need a proper 10. If we were going to play this formation of a 10, we need a proper 10. But because we have got a proper 10 now, we're now lacking in that DM area, which for balance in the midfield. But the defender, not being the defender, also we brought Leone in, 18-year-older, so it is one for the future as well. But with a defender, an absolute centre-back, a centre-back to challenge Konate, a centre-back to back up Konate, or centre-back to maybe even take over Konate, if Konate is to leave as well in the summer, should have been one of the priorities. It should have been. But it wasn't. Well, we wanted Marc Guehi, we just didn't do enough to go sign him, I don't think. Not until late. We paid it up late, and it was too late then for Palace. They had the chance then Palace to pull out, and that's what happened. Yes, we did right for going for Marc Guehi. Yes, we were unlucky not to get him in the end because, like I said, Palace did pull out. But like I said, that 5-10 million we were crying about, well, I won't say crying about, but umming and ahhing about paying, that should have been paid earlier on in the transfer window, and we'd have had Marc Guehi through the door. And wouldn't be in the situation where we are now. But not bringing in, according to David Arnstein, this is what David Arnstein has said. I'm not expecting Liverpool to go for a centre-back in January as things stand. Of course, things could change, but I don't think it's the plan. And when he says there, of course, things could change, I think he's regarding like an injury. I think what needs to happen for us to bring a centre-back in is what happened in 2021, and that's simply not good enough. I think we are relying on Gravenberch and Endo as worst-case scenarios. That's what we're relying on. Instead of putting our own luck, rely on luck and things like that. But you make your own luck. Go out and buy a centre back, and we're covered there for the season at least. But no. And if that costs us, if we don't bring a defender in, it costs us the league title. I'm sorry, things need to be questioned. Things need to be asked. Why don't we go bring a centre back in January? Because we shouldn't be making the same mistake we did in 2021. Have we not learned from that? Or we're just simply trying to save money now? We've had to spend now. That's it. It's really frustrating. It's really frustrating. Like Dave Arnstein there, things can change, and I'm hoping they do change their mind and getting a centre back in January. But it'd be a big mistake if they don't for me. A massive mistake. And like I said, it can cost you a Premier League title. It really can. Because that season, before the January, we were top of the league. We were top of the league, and we got a couple of injuries, and we didn't replace. We didn't go get a centre back. We only got a centre back. We only got Kabak and Davis in as panic buys because Fabinho took a knock. So Fabinho couldn't cover there. So it shouldn't have to take the worst case scenario to happen for us to be proactive. We need to be proactive in these situations instead of reactive. If we react in January buying a centre back because of another injury or something like that, that's simply not good enough. Be proactive. Look at a centre back now. Bring a centre back in the first week of January. It don't have to be the first day, but the first week of January, and we're prepared for the season. And let's go win this fucking title. That's what I want to see. I want to see proactiveness from the transfer side of things and bringing another centre back. And another worry on Konate as well. So, according to L'Equipe, obviously French outlet, Konate is on international duty with France at the moment. Liverpool defender Ibrahima Konate is suffering from a quadriceps injury. The French national team will analyze his situation upon his arrival in France. An update on Konate's fitness is expected in the coming hours. That was yesterday. So, but I've not seen anything since regarding that. 1 second. I will have a look if anything. But he is in France now, is Konate, but there's still no update on his fitness as of yet, even though it said coming hours. But yeah, no update on Konate's fitness. It's not a major injury, but it's still an injury. And hopefully it's fine. Hopefully we don't have to go down to 2 centre backs, but we are playing with fire right now. Relying on 3 centre backs. That Marc Guehi deal should have been done for me in summer. In recent hours as well, according to Mail Sport, Crystal Palace are planning to offer Adam Walton a new deal, including a release clause. Liverpool and Man City are among the clubs keeping tabs on an English midfielder. which that would be an interesting one because obviously we do need a DM, like Tony said there. Adam Wharton has been unbelievable, by the way, this season. Again, another fantastic season for him. And Palace, again, on Sunday, despite Everton getting the win in the end, I thought he was sensational against Everton. Adam Wharton would be an unbelievable signing. And if Palace do get a release clause in there, that gives an open door for Man City and Liverpool if they are willing to go and get him. A release clause. How much would you think, guys, in the chat? Get in chat. How much do you think a release clause should be on Adam Wharton? Do you think it'd be 100 million? Do you think it'd be less? What do you think? What would you think is a reasonable price for Adam Wharton as a release clause if that is the case for Crystal Palace putting that one in? It is a right now. It is a title race. It is a Premier League title race going on with us, Arsenal, and potentially Man City as well, but definitely us and Arsenal. And it's those fine margins on and off the pitch that can win you that title. And like I said, that defender in January could be the difference between winning a title and not winning a title. And hopefully we do change our mind on that. Because like I said, David Ornstein saying there, right now, we are not going for a defender in January. But things can change. I'm hoping it's not because we get an injury. I'm hoping it's because we change our mind and we think, you know what? If we get a defender in, that gives us stability. That gives us the best chance of winning the league. And that's all I care about. That's all we need to do. The league or the Champions League. You know what I'm saying? Basically, go to win big trophies this season. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on the Konate news. Let me know your thoughts on the Guehi news. Do you think it's a big mistake that Marc Guehi wasn't brought in a little bit early in the transfer window and now Bayern Munich involved, Real Madrid involved? Do you still think Marc Guehi comes to Liverpool? That's a question for you guys. Do you still think Marc Guehi comes to Liverpool? Because like we've been saying, Bayern Munich being involved and Real Madrid being involved, it's just more options for him. And all it takes is one conversation. We know this. Florian Wirtz are pretty much going to Bayern Munich. That's what's going to happen. One conversation with Arne Slot, one conversation with the Liverpool representatives, and Florian Wirtz chose Liverpool. All it takes is one conversation sometimes to influence players, and that's again the same with Marc Guehi. Why can't it be the same with Marc Guehi? He could have one conversation with Real Madrid. He could have one conversation with Bayern Munich and change his mind of Liverpool. Right now, we are just putting our whole hopes on Guehi not changing his mind with Liverpool. And I'm going to stay consistent with this because my thoughts right now are I think he still comes to Liverpool in the summer. I still think I'm putting my hopes on him not changing his mind. And a percentage-wise, I think it's 70% chance. Right now, I'm 70% that Marc Guehi comes to Liverpool in summer. But the longer this goes on, more clubs come involved, like a Bayern Munich, like a Real Madrid, then that 70% could easily start dropping down. My hope of him coming to Liverpool. But right now, I still think he comes to Liverpool based on the fact that he was actually happy to join Liverpool and he did his medical. And he did everything but join Liverpool at that point. And this actually backs up the stuff about Ben Jacobs as well. Ben Jacobs actually spoke about it the other day about January and centre-backs. There are internal discussions at Liverpool currently taking place on whether another centre-back is needed in January. Let's just hope there's internal discussions whether we need a centre-back go towards getting a centre-back. Because for me, we need a centre-back in January. It shouldn't be that long of a discussion for me. It shouldn't be a long conversation. It should be, look, we need it's quite simple, really. Our plans were to bring another centre-back in summer, Marc Guehi. That was our plans. But we didn't get him. So, using that logic, we are one centre-back down going into the season. For our plans were to bring another centre-back in. By logical reasoning, we are now one centre-back down in our head, in our plans. Leone, injury, very, very unlucky. Very unlucky because he was sensational that game against Southampton. Very unlucky to get the injury, and he's out for the year, which is so unfortunate for such a young player and such a talented player. Out for the year. So now we are two centre-backs down. Bearing in mind we wanted another centre-back in the summer, we are now two centre-backs down. So going into January, knowing we are two centre-backs down from what our plans were, how long of a conversation does it need to be that we need another centre-back? By logic, we need another centre back, at least one. By logic. Forget what we want as fans. By logic, we need another centre back. So if we go into January and not bring another centre back in, then we're going against logic. We're going against what actually makes sense. And why? What is the reasoning behind not going to bring another centre back in January? We know how important January signings can be. Van Dijk was a January signing. Gakpo, Diaz. These January signings changed our season. Don't underestimate January signings. And people say, "Oh, we can't get players in January." Bollocks! It's bollocks. What do you mean can't get players in January? And when I saw back in 2021, but there were no one available. Gabriel signed for Arsenal. I'm sure Gabriel signed for Arsenal that January. What do you mean no one was available? It's bollocks. There's plenty available. Everyone has a price. Yes, clubs don't want to sell in January. Absolutely, because it's halfway through their season. But they're willing to do so if we pay the money. I can guarantee that. Tony said, yeah, we should have put the dosh up quickly for Guehi, no messing about and get the deal over line. We just piss around a lot sometimes with deals. That's the issue. I understand trying to get it down, but with the Marc Guehi one, we got the Verge deal down, we got the Kirkers deal down, but the Marc Guehi one, at the end of the day, we've missed out on him because it was 5 to 10 million. That's all they're asking for, 5 to 10 million more. 40 million pounds for a defender of Guehi. Forget that he's got a year left in his contract. Forget that. I don't want to even look. Obviously, it makes a massive difference. But Guehi for 40 million pounds would have been a fucking steal. 40 million pounds for Marc Guehi, a steal. Captain of Crystal Palace, one of the best centre backs in the league. A ball playing centre back that would suit Arne Slot more than Konate. Let's be honest here, because we're asking Konate to be a ball playing centre back, which he is not that. And that's why he's making so many mistakes. That £40 million would have gone a long way for Marc Guehi. We're looking at deals too business-like. Instead of looking at like £40 million for Marc Guehi is fantastic. Yes, he's got a year left on his deal, and yes, we can get him for free next summer. But I don't give a fuck. I care about now. I care about going to win titles, going to win trophies now. And Marc Guehi this season would have been a massive, massive improvement on that, a massive boost for that. And to go into January and not even think about getting a centre back in, for me, is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And if we do that, like I said, it could easily well be a title-defining mistake. I'm not saying it will be, but it could easily be. So I'm going to go through over a couple of Konate quotes, a couple of Van Dijk quotes. I'll say Van Dijk has been very vocal in recent games, after recent games, with the performances not being up to scratch. He's been very vocal, but that's what captains do. Captains are leaders. Van Dijk is fantastic. He's doing the right thing by coming out and being vocal. He leads by example, and that's why he's the captain of our club. So we need to do what we are doing last year when everyone was so happy. Now we have a little bit of a tough moment. We can change pretty quickly, but we have to work for it. That's what I want to hear from Van Dijk. Yes, it's a blip. Yes, we've lost 3 games in a row, but we know we have work to do. They said there's plenty of work to do. We know in football every 3 or 4 days things can change, momentum can change, but we have to work there to get there first. And I have absolute trust in these players. Why wouldn't you have trust in these players? Why wouldn't you have trust in this manager to turn things around? It has been 3 games. And I think it's more the fact that people concentrating on these 3 games, these 3 losses. We haven't been playing well all season. That's the honest truth. We haven't played well all season. But half here and there, moments here and there. I think our best games were Atletico Madrid first half, Everton first half. Played well in other games as well. But majority of the season, we haven't played well. And we have to start seeing some more. And with the arrival of a lot of new players as well, that also impacts massively. But there's no a bunch of players or a manager that I trust more than to work hard and concentrate on getting things right for me. And Van Dijk there, leading by example, basically says we have to work at it. And that's exactly what we're going to do over the next 2 weeks. That's what we need to do in the next 2 weeks. Yes, our players are going to take national duty, but Arne Slot, with the players that he's got at AXA training ground, with the players that, with him and his coaching staff, need to work in the next 2 weeks to ensure we bounce back instantly when we come back. So, yeah, 1 second, actually. It's going over now, the Adam Wharton news with the Mail Sport. Liverpool, Chelsea, Manchester, all interesting for us. Adam Wharton is now valued at the £75 million bracket. So, what the value now is £75 million. But, like I said, they are willing, they're trying to get him on a new contract with a release clause. So, that release clause is going to be about £75 million. Is it going to be more? I'd say about £80 million could be that release clause for Adam Wharton. And that, for me, it's a lot, but I think it's worth it. For a DM, well, we need a DM, I think it's worth it. There was some news last night. Also, Indy Callier has had a summer of all summers. Indy Callier, people might not rely on Indy Callier for football news, but they have had a lot of very good news this summer. They have been very reliable to the point where David Ornstein have called Indy Callier out and praised them for their breaking news. So they came out last night. It was last night, wasn't it? Yeah, it was 10 o'clock last night. Bournemouth are willing to sell Antoine Semenyo in January for £100 million. Arsenal have been informed. We also understand Liverpool have also been contacted via their sporting director, Victor Hughes, who has a deep connection with Bournemouth. £100 million for Semenyo. It's a lot of money. It is a lot of money, but I absolutely love Semenyo. I think he's a fantastic player. The issue is no one is going to pay £100 million for Semenyo in summer. That's not going to happen. If we were to pay £100 million for Semenyo in summer, he has to start. And he has to start over Gakpo or even a Salah. I'm not saying, I think Salah should start, but I think he has to start at least over Gakpo. He's got to start. He's not going to be a backup for Salah. He's not going to be a backup for Gakpo. Not for £100 million in January. There's not a chance. So I think, yes, as much as I think he's a fantastic, fantastic player, I don't think anyone's going to pay £100 million in January. I think that's part of like a sort of like a bait thing there from Bournemouth. They probably know someone's not going to pay £100 million for Semenyo. I think if Arsenal got him though, wow. Semenyo one side, Saka on the other side, with Eze in the middle. That would be an unbelievable statement if Arsenal were to get Semenyo. It really would. I would like to go for Semenyo next summer. We spoke about Semenyo in the summer. We spoke about, what wingers we would like to replace Diaz. Semenyo was one of the few players we said, and we said, Semenyo, what a player we would be. He could play on both sides. He's much more versatile than money out there, and he's everything that you'd want as a winger. He's direct. He can shoot. He can assist. He's direct. He can come inside. He can go outside. He's a brilliant, brilliant footballer. And he does have the shades of a Sadio Mane, the way he drives at players, the way, he can get past, the way he can do different things rather than just one same thing coming inside or going outside. He can do many things like Sadio Mane did. So for me, Semenyo, if we should maybe in the summer, if Gakpo doesn't improve, then Gakpo might even leave at some point in the future. But Semenyo for me has to be one of the top players to look at if we are looking at that position for me. Injury news on Endo as well. According, 1 second, yes, he's been withdrawn for the Japan squads. So yeah, Endo's actually picked up an injury as well, which came out yesterday. He's been withdrawn for the Japanese squad for the internationals. This is the issue in it when we start getting injuries. Have we really got depth in certain areas? Endo is our midfield depth, and I don't think we have that midfield depth that we need at the moment, especially that DM area. Konate, if he's got an injury, we already have poor depth for me for defense. So it's we can get injuries. Injuries are part and parcel of the game. It's just we're getting injuries right now. If we are getting injuries, it's in places where we're struggling already for depth. Like Leona getting injured, we're already one centre back down before Leona getting injured for that depth. Endo getting injured, that's not good for our DM depth because we ain't got any DM depth really. Because Bacetić is not fit at all. He hasn't been fit since for the last few years. So it is injuries are part and parcel of the game, but it's just unfortunate right now. It's happening to places that we don't need it to happen. But for me, regarding defense, regarding January, we have to be looking right now at bringing a defender in January. And I don't think it should be that long of a discussion. If we are having discussions about it, it should be, yes, just for logical sense, just for sheer logical sense, we need a centre back in January. Just going to quickly talk about the Premier League as well. Obviously, it was a big weekend for the title race. It was a huge weekend for the title race. We were favourites going into the season, rightly so. But for me, as I said last night in the Premier League debate, I did a Premier League debate last night and who I think Premier League favourites are right now, and I think it has switched. I think right now I've seen everything. I've seen 7 games of Arsenal. I've seen 7 games of Liverpool. I think Arsenal are the title winning favourites right now. I think Arsenal are the favourites right now from what I've seen with my eyes. I think it's that close. I think you could even see I think you could even say it wouldn't be hard to say that it's quite balanced between Arsenal and Liverpool. They're both maybe title favourites, but I think Arsenal slightly have the edge because of their defensive structure and how balanced they are right now. Obviously, the things that Liverpool have over is the experience. With Premier League champions have been there, done that. Arsenal's won the league. These players have won the league. They've probably got more match winners, better world-class players. But as a whole structure and the way they're playing, I think Arsenal are playing better right now, and Arsenal are better structurally to win the Premier League title in terms of defence, especially. So I put them slightly favourites. But that can change. That can change. That really can change. If Liverpool start clicking into gear, if Liverpool start showing what we can do, if Liverpool come back with a proper system and getting the best out of Salah, getting the best out of Verts, finding Isak more, because that's another big problem. We're not finding Isak. We've bought this guy for record British transfer fee, one of the best strikers in the world, and we're not finding him. We're not even creating him in chances. If we could start doing that, then absolutely we should be favourites. But as of this moment, I honestly think Arsenal are slightly favourites. And I say that with gritted teeth. So I don't want to say that, but that is the truth. When I catch up with Ux, when I catch up with other Arsenal fans on this channel, I'll tell them the same thing. They know I stay real. They know I stay consistent with my opinions. And I don't change because I'm biased. I'm deluded. I'll tell you what I think, and I'll tell you what I'm believing. This is why at the weekend in the preview for the Chelsea game, I said the game will be 1-1, and I think either team can win it late. And I was spot on that. And Chelsea won it late. It almost 1-1. Because I could go, like I said, I've said it on this channel many times, I could go into games and think, yeah, Liverpool won this. But Premier League champions, I don't see football like that. I see what I see with my eyes. And if I see Liverpool struggling, I'll predict Liverpool might drop points here. It's very rare. Teams don't win every game. But I'll be honest, at that point leading up to that game, I'll be honest on my prediction in that game because I see what I'm seeing with my eyes. I didn't have the confidence at all to go to Stamford Bridge and win that game. Regardless of how many injuries Chelsea had, regardless of missing Cole Palmer, what I've seen in Liverpool, I was not confident enough to say Liverpool can win that game. And that's why I predicted 1-1. And they proved me right. They proved me absolutely right. Chelsea went down to their 100th defender. The 2 centre-backs they started with, who were already back up, they both got injured. They ended up with Hatter and Reece James as centre-back. And they still got the win, and they still deserved the win. So what I'm seeing right now in my eyes, this is why watching football is very, very important. Instead of basing your opinions on stats. Because if you based all your opinions on stats, you predicted Liverpool to win that game against Chelsea. Oh, we're top of the league. We've scored this amount of goals. We're above Chelsea in points. If you look at the stats, sheer stats, Liverpool should win the game. But if you actually watch the games, you'll understand Liverpool haven't been playing well enough for me to be confident going into that game. But yeah, it is what it is. It's international break. I hope I'm trying to this week, guys. This next 2 weeks, obviously, is international break. I'm trying to do a bit more fun streams going into the season. Tonight, there's going to be a video released at 7 o'clock. With me and Naj, we went through the system yesterday and what needs fixing in the system. Went through the formations thing and who should be playing in the formations and system right now to maybe fix silent slot, maybe to fix what's going on the pitch in terms of performance. We're not experts, but we gave it a good go. So make sure you do tune into that tonight at 6 or 7 o'clock. I think it'll be released tonight. And I'll be live tomorrow night at 7 o'clock as usual time. Speak about the latest news. But this week, like I said, this week and next week, apologies. This week and next week, I'm going to try to do some more fun streams, quizzes, and things like that. Something fun, much more interactive for you guys at home. So make sure you stay tuned. If you want to have a nice little laugh this week, take your mind off, the Premier League and how poor Liverpool are playing right now. Let's have a bit of fun this week, guys. Let's have some quizzes. Let's have some games on this channel. So make sure you do tune us in tomorrow at 7 o'clock for a live stream. And tonight, like I said, a video is being released tonight as well. So have a great day, guys. Make sure you enjoy your day. Relax. Whether you're at work, enjoy your day at work as well. Speak to you all later. And make sure you do hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. Yeah. Have a great day, guys. Speak to you all later.